the end of 2023, I want to share with you some of the highlights of my bear encounters this year. I've had over 13 grizzly encounters. This one here is probably one of the highlights. Did a lot of hiking, encountered a few black bears even, backing away from this guy on the trail. He popped out at us. But to start with the grizzlies, at the end of this video, I'll show you another black bear encounter I had with my mom and her 2 cubs while hiking. But a ton of grizzly encounters. This grizzly here was on the ridge as we were hiking up a trail. Could care less about us. We were making lots of noise as you're supposed to, hiking in groups, carrying bear spray. It just kind of watched us go by, could care less about us, was more interested in munching on the floor as we continued our hike up the mountain. On this very same hike, we encountered this bear as well. Couldn't get quite a good look at it, the face. Looks like it maybe has a hump, so I'm not sure if it's a grizzly or not, but same hike, same trail, second bear encounter. My next bear encounter is actually Grizzly 864. We were down in Wyoming a week or so earlier. I was lucky enough to encounter her coming off of the hillside and with her 2 cubs underneath this large tree. Let's take a look at her. She was actually pretty far away, as you'll see her shortly. It's always good to keep your distance from these grizzlies. They recommend at least 100 yards. You can see we're pretty far back. This next bear encounter is another mom and her 2 cubs. Probably the best wildlife encounter I had this summer. Maybe even better than the one I'm going to share with you at the end. But she didn't care for the bear coming out of this tree line, which was another grizzly checking out her 2 cubs. So she took off running. So while she's out there munching away with her 2 cubs, here's a picture of this bear along the tree line. It started to come out and pay attention to her. She didn't care for that too much. The encounter itself was very odd. Her cubs, you can see here, standing on their legs checking out this other bear coming in, but they started walking directly towards it initially. The cubs and her eventually started charging and running away from the unwanted bear in the background, and they kept looking back at it. It was an amazing year with seeing all these different bears. The mom here with her 2 cubs, amazing experience watching her defend her bear against that unwanted bear. But the most famous bear of all, I was lucky to see in June. That month is Grizzly 399 here with her cub of the year, her 18th cub. She's the mother of many, many of the bears in the greater Yellowstone area and the Grand Tetons. I was lucky enough to see her come out of her hibernation here in June with her 18th cub, maybe her last. Pretty an amazing experience to watch them for several hours. Let's watch some video. My first interaction with her here was as she was coming out along the tree line. I didn't realize she had a cub with her. Watched her merge along the tree line, then she started scratching her back on this tree, and the tree started shaking back and forth. About 30 minutes later, she actually came out of the tree line with her cub. That's when I realized I was looking at 399, the most famous grizzly bear in the entire area. She's, like I said, has known to have 18 cubs now. A few years earlier, I was my first encounter with her when she actually had 4 cubs. The thing about 399, she stays close to the roads. You can actually watch her from the safety of your car. She keeps close to humans to protect her youngling, her cubs, from male boars. This next encounter is a grizzly that was in a lake that caused the trail to be closed. I know it's difficult to see, but there's actually a black dot down there at where this lake exits, turns into a stream that appears where this grizzly is trying to fish. That kept us from hiking down there. Didn't want to encounter that grizzly. I also, at the end here, I'm going to share with you a black bear encounter with her 2 cubs. I seem to find moms with cubs this year hiking. She was trying to keep away from us, and I was backing away the other direction as well, trying to give her space. And my last bear encounter that I thought was memorable this year was this black bear coming out of the trail. I was going up it. Did not see her until pretty late. Started backing away to give her plenty of distance as it went the other way. She didn't want anything to do with me either. As you can see, 2023 was pretty memorable from all my hiking experiences on the trail, encountering bears as well as along the roadway. Don't know what the deal was. 2022, I didn't see hardly anything. 2023, so many. 399 here, though, is probably one of my highlights for the entire year. It was awesome seeing 399 again this summer from the safety of my car along the roadway. Such a memorable bear, makes a lasting impression on one. Please be safe out there. In these videos, I was always wearing my bear spray, hiking in groups, making plenty of noise, not to surprise any of these bears, and trying to keep my distance. Until our next adventure, thanks for being here.